Next, I will discuss about the legal rights of students and parents. So, what are the legal rights of students and parents? There are four legal rights of students and parents, each including freedom of expression, due process in suspension and expulsion, privacy, and non-discrimination. The first legal right of students is freedom of expression. Each student has the right to freedom their speech or expression. However, there are some issues related to this right. Firstly is censorship. To censor means to examine in order to suppress or delete anything considered objectionable. This is due to the suppression of an idea or image that disturbs someone or because they disagree with it. In the United States, the censorship does not involve the political idea or criticism of the government, but it also involves social issues and in schools, which commonly directed at controversial material. Hence, in order to publish the expression among students, they have to pass through the period of censorship and submit the literature before the publication. Advocates censorship often target materials that discuss sexuality, religion, race, and ethnicity, whether it directly or indirectly. However, in Malaysia, the freedom of expression is severely restricted compared to the other countries, especially which related to sensitive issues. The second issue is the dress code. Generally, clothes is the main way to express the ideas for students in the United States. The first school dress code law is due to the case known as Tinker versus Des Moines Independent School District in 1969. It involved several students who wore black armbands to school in a planned protest against the Vietnam War. Hence, the court decided the school should limit student expression if there is a legitimate concern that will be disrupt the environment or violate the rights of others. Today, most states have laws that allow school boards to make dress code rules for students within their district to promote a safe, disciplined school environment, prevent interference with schoolwork and discipline, and to encourage uniformity of student dress. In Malaysia, all of the public schools wear the same color of dress, but the color of dress for school prefect, librarian, and class monitor is depend on each school. For university, they have their own dress code, but normally it's same as long as the dress is polite. But in US, there are some limits on dress code have including the following. The first is limits on gang-related clothing, sometimes described as oversized clothing, and other clothing meant to show affiliation with a certain gang or group, such as certain colors, logos, brand names, or arrangement. The second is ban on suggestively themed t-shirts, such as the Marilyn Manson t-shirts. The third one is requirement to wear school colors only, and the last one is limits on skirt, shirts, and pant length. The second legal right is due process in suspension and expulsion. In order to promote learning and protect the safety and well-being of all students, the board has established policies and standards of behavior. When these policies and standards are violated, it may be necessary to suspend or expel a student from regular classroom instruction. Hence, the board shall provide for the fair and equitable treatment of students who are facing the suspension and expulsion. It means that the students can be neither suspended nor expelled without due process. Some of the due process in suspension and expulsion include for suspension, First is student facing suspension should be provide some types of notice followed by a brief informal hearing. The second one is during the hearing, the school official should listen to all sides of the issue, and for expulsion, the students, parents, or legal guardians should be informed based on school or district policy of specific interaction that may result in expulsion. So, in Malaysia, there is Educational Institution Discipline Act 1976 with the aim to provide for matters related to discipline in educational institution and for matters connected therewith. Other legal rights for students is privacy. Each of students have their right in ensuring their personal data information are protected. Personal data is information that is used explicitly to determine your identity. It includes information such as your name and your postal or email address. Some privacy issues that occur in school setting including the open access towards the discipline record and students' grade record. The teacher should not publish this kind of data to public because it considered as a student privacy and it can bring down the student's dignity. Ministry of Education has introduced the Aplikasi Pangkalan Data Murid (APDM). APDM is an online application to store information about the students including attendance record. A class teacher has a full responsibility for the data and information of students and parents, as well as the teacher should update from time to time. Hence, the teacher could not disclose the system's password to other parties in order to prevent the intrusion into APDM. In Malaysia, there is Personal Data Protection Act 2010 in order to regulate the processing of personal data in commercial transactions. However, there are several exceptions for school setting. For example, exception towards disclosure of student discipline records with the purpose of discussion with school principal or pass the personal data information of student to the substitute teacher for exclusive use. But the teacher must period inform the parents. In United States, Congress passed the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, which is FAIRPA, which gave parents and students under 18 and students 18 and older the right to examine their school records. Every public or educational institution must obey to the law, which is known as Buckley Amendment. According to Buckley Amendment, the school must do the following, which are: the first one is inform parents and students of their rights. Secondly, provide information to parents and students about the type of educational records available and how to obtain access to them. The third one is allow parents or students to review records, request changes, request a hearing if changes are not allowed, and if necessary, add their own explanation about the record. The fourth one, not give out personally identifiable information without period written informed consent of a parent or student. And the last one is allow parents and students to see the school records of disclosure. Other than that, there is also an issue about the cameras in the classroom in order to protect the students from any violence or misconduct. However, these cameras become an issue when there were several communities that worry that camera will interfere with learning activities or it could be misused as well as intrude the privacy. So, to overcome this issue, the administrative must consider some guidelines which are: the first one is develop policy that set out the purpose for using cameras and outline the parameters for use. The second one is to avoid placing cameras in areas where students and staff would have an expectation of privacy, such as a restroom or locker room. Third one is notify the school community. And the last one is to avoid the use of cameras as the record audio conversation. Lastly, students also have right to non-discrimination. Schools are legally bound to avoid discriminating against students on the basis of race, sex, religion, disability, sexual orientation, marital status, or infection with a disease such as HIV or AIDS. All of the students have their right to get equal educational opportunities in schools and may not be treated differently. However, in Malaysia, it still has several issues according to discrimination in education, especially in minority society. For example, education among orang asli. Although there is a lot of development in this country, but most of authorities marginalize the education for orang asli. Even though they are minorities in this country, but they still have the right to have education as the other citizens. Therefore, the government should look for alternatives in order to attract these minority communities to be involved in the educational system.